life. Abortion is healthcare. Yeah, that's right. And it saves women's lives every year.
First and foremost, before I begin my response, I first want to state that I'm not necessarily in favor of the state illegalizing abortion. Whatever occurs between that procedure is between the doctor and the patient, and that we shouldn't necessarily use legislation against that. That being said, I don't really appreciate it when leftists use words and misappropriate the words. I consider myself to be a classical liberal type or like a libertarian kind of type and not necessarily a leftist per se. But when I hear things like abortion is healthcare, it's like one of many examples of how words are misappropriated. Let's take, for example, the word genocide, because during the whole entire Israeli Palestinian conflict, many leftists claim that the genocide occurring, yet the population for the Palestinian population has actually increased over time, then decreased over time. Another example of misappropriation of words is yes, all men, to not necessarily mean all men. So when I hear a statement that abortion is healthcare, let's look at the definition of healthcare. The main definition that comes directly from Webster is efforts to maintain, restore, or promote someone's physical, mental, or emotional well-being, especially performed by trained and licensed professionals. According to the data, most abortions that are being performed right now are not necessarily for medical reasons. So, although I'm not necessarily against the idea of women having abortions, the whole entire phrase doesn't necessarily make any sort of sense to me for that precise reasons. It's also worth noting that according to the data, we do in fact know that red states in particular are pretty much guilty of teenage pregnancies in comparison to the rest of the country. So, what can we possibly do to fix all of this? One way to improve this is to make sure that the red states actually concentrate on sex education and get rid of abstinence only education. Also, we as a culture need to make sure that this whole entire idea of getting an abortion is not necessarily normalized either. It should be safe and completely rare at all costs. However, saying things like that is healthcare or that basically you need to shout your abortion, that doesn't necessarily help things at all.